Thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you're enjoying our annual meeting this year. You know, we were off to a great start yesterday. We had great speakers. We had President of American Farm Bureau here, Commissioner of Agriculture, and both of them I thought gave really nice speeches yesterday, right on target for what we are dealing with as we're moving forward. So we seem to try to have something for everyone at our annual meeting, and I certainly hope you enjoy that. Remember that this evening at 5:45, please join us for the reception that Marlene and I and the board and their spouses will be hosting a reception. This year, a little change, and it's a joint effort by really both companies, the Federation and the insurance company, so we look forward to having you there. And wear that Christmas attire if you have it. I see a lot of red here today, and so we're going to have photo session there, and take advantage of that. Get group photos, family photos, county photos, whatever you desire. So it'll be a great day. You know, we've had a really good year in Farm Bureau this year. This morning in our awards program, you saw us give away a number of awards to the winners that have made us successful throughout the year. And we appreciate that so much. This year, the attendance at every Farm Bureau function that we have has been really high and been really good. Everything from our commodity advisory meetings all year, well attended, to every event, young farmer event, women's advisory committee, state meetings, and here at the annual meeting we have near record attendance. This morning I was told that we're just right at almost the 1,600 number, 1,600 people registered here for this meeting, and folks are still coming in as we go through the day for various parts of the activities. So we're so proud of the work that has been done, and really it's a testament to you at the county level and county farm bureaus and the work that our board and especially the staff from our companies, and we appreciate that so much. But I want to recognize, really, you have already done that, but I want to say thank you to the board of directors. These are the folks that you elect, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a hard-working group. It's a smart group of people. They understand the issues. They talk about the issues, and they will really, at the board level, they will perform just like you're asking them to. They will discuss the issues and then reach a decision that amazes me every time they're right on the right answer. So I appreciate them really very much. And again, I want to give them another round of applause. I appreciate the work that they do. Thank you. I also want to tell you how much I appreciate working with the executive committee. Eddie and Fritz couldn't have better teammates. I enjoy them. I appreciate their wives, Regina and Lydia, the effort that they give, and really just do an incredible job. Not only do we work well together, but we're great friends, and I appreciate that really very much. I also want to say how much that I'm thankful to David and to Brad and our relationships. We work together daily, and John and his role as COO of the insurance company and the work that they do and the involvement that we all have together is very important. It's very important for you and the companies that you watch over and we watch over as well, and they do a good job, and I appreciate them and their staffs that they work for. I would put our Farm Bureau staff up against any farm bureau in the country because it is top notch. Yesterday, David, Juliana Potts, as you know, was here, the executive director of the American Farm Bureau, and she told me more than once, and Bob made reference to it too, said, I am so impressed with your staff and the way they work and get things done here in Kentucky. So I want you to know what they said, and it was appreciative. But at this time, I would really like to ask the staff of both companies, the Federation and the insurance company, and then what agents and agency managers and that we have here this morning representing our companies. Would you as a group please stand to be recognized and see if you're an employee of Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance Company, or an agent or an agency manager. Thank you. Thank you very much. It does really, they do a yeoman's job for us. I also want to recognize another group here that's very important to us that we work with every day, and that's the division directors that we have of the Farm Bureau Federation and the vice presidents of the Kentucky Department of Insurance, or the Kentucky Insurance, Farm Bureau Insurance Company. That group we work with, of course, on a daily basis as well, but such a stellar group, and I would like to ask them to stand to be recognized. The vice presidents and the division directors probably scattered about the building. Some are over here, but anyway, we appreciate the work that you do very much. There's another a group or folks that I want to make reference to, if I may, is I want to recognize my assistant, Rachel Thomas. I've already lost you, Rachel. There she is over here. Rachel does a wonderful job and knows my schedule inside and out better than I do, believe me. And I appreciate the work that she and Beth do, and also Paula Stidham and Sylvia Rogers from the insurance company. They assist all the folks here at the table. Paula and Sylvia also work with the board closely, and they do a good job. And the reason I also want to mention Sylvia is because Sylvia has announced her retirement, and I've lost Sylvia here and right here. Sylvia will be retiring in the spring, and she has given many years to Farm Bureau, and I want to recognize she, and I also want to recognize this time Greg Youngblood. Greg Youngblood is Vice President of Claims, and after many, many years, Greg is retiring this spring as well. And I don't know if you knew that or not, but they've done a very good job, and they deserve recognition this morning. Sylvia and Greg, would you please stand to let us be recognized here? Wave your hand. Greg's in the back. Sylvia, thank you. Thank you for your many years of service. Also, it takes a lot of support to be successful in any job or any task. You have to have support, encouragement of those folks around you. And I couldn't ask for more support from anybody than my wife, Marlene. And thank you so much for your support. She's the one that nudges me along all the time and encourages me to be able to do that. And she and my family, and I appreciate them so much. And Marlene, please stand to be recognized. Folks, she deserves a round of applause, I think. Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize my business partner at home, my brother Don. It's really does the day-to-day on the farm without me, and I get there on weekends and do the best we can. But together we have raised more than, we'll give the exact number, I might miss it here, but we have raised more than 40 crops together. And they're coming fast now, aren't they? But anyway, I appreciate Don and his wife Ann and really the work that they help do there at the farm. And Don, would you stand, please? And I don't know if Ann's here or not. Thank you for what you do. And we're in no hurry, I don't think, are we? We're okay. I like to say thank you to the people that really mean, that give so much to help you and encourage you and push you along. And that's like my county farm bureau, Pulaski County Farm Bureau, really, and District 7. And I want to say thank you to you folks for what you do and really encourage me and help me get along. We've had a really good year this year in the insurance company as well, and I want to kind of start there. Our body of work for the last few years, I think, has been nothing but stellar. And really, we've had a profitable year this year. We had record profits last year. And it's because of the work that not only our agents and agency managers have done, and the staff has done. But I want to say thank you to them, but I also want to say thank you to you for being patient through this process, being very supportive, and as we make adjustments through there, now we can all, it makes a difference, and we can all really rest assured that things are better when we have profitable years. You know, it means so much, and really as now we're in a position that we're beginning to see that our membership has really kind of taken a little dive, as you know, and that was expected, and we knew that was going to happen. But now we're seeing the signs. We're seeing the signs, and we're beginning to see that we're ready to start pushing back into growth. We've got the company ready really now to be ready to take on some slow growth, and that's what we're after. Our market share in the last year or so has slipped a little bit, and we understood that. Our competitors moved in there when they saw that we were making some adjustments and wrote some of that business. We understood that was going to happen. But I can't tell you how much work now that our board, our insurance board, and the leadership team at the insurance company, we're beginning to meet in the next few months, having strategic plans of how we're going to move this company forward, going back and as we shift gears again. You know, we learned some lessons, and we don't want to repeat some of those mistakes that we've made in the past. The mistakes that we did for 50 years, that we had continual growth in the company. That was phenomenal that we were able to do that. Phenomenal, but it was expensive, ladies and gentlemen. When you write a policy and lose money on it just to be able to write that membership, that's not good policy to be doing. And we have made some adjustments, and because of that, we are in a great position to move forward, and we're going to take advantage of that. Certainly, our organization and our sales team and our folks are second to none in their ability to make this thing happen, and we're looking forward to that. Our federation continues to excel in our program of work, and we made Memphis mention of that a few moments ago when we talked about really all the increased participation that we're having. This year, our membership ended shy of 467,000 members, but we're now ready to start moving back, and we're going to be encouraging that and promoting that and pushing on that. Our staff, we're fully staffed in the Federation now, Mr. Beck, and we have some really highly talented individuals that are now just moved into new positions for Kentucky Farm Bureau. We're excited about that. We've got some folks in Farm Bureau that are really talented in the work that they do, and their administrative type skills and their organizational skills. I'll put up with anyone, and we're so pleased with that, and we're ready to move forward. We are making investments now and to diversify some of the ways that we have for income for Kentucky Farm Bureau. You'll see when we get to our financial statement that we have moved some money into a different column, from one column into another. It's still on there, but we have invested in some money that we think will pay great dividends for our company. And one of those is a company that we share with the Development Corporation and a subsidiary of the insurance company have come together and formed a new company that we call A-Vision. And you've seen that yesterday in the trade show. They were very prominent there. And A-Vision is a new glass company that we're pleased to be able to endorse, push, and we're going to work with, not only in auto glass, but also in what we call flat glass and window replacements and glass. We buy a lot of glass, and other companies buy a lot of glass. And we think it will give us an income stream to be able to be a member service that will be very positive for us. We're especially pleased with our accomplishments in the leadership development that we have. Today we'll be graduating a lead class. One of our premier classes for our young people that promote leadership skills. And a new class will be introduced today, and we're so pleased to be able to do that. This year at the FFA convention here in Louisville, you saw Kentucky Farm Bureau's involvement of that really at a strong level, and David Beck was involved with chairing the host committee to bring that in. We were so pleased with that. Our involvement with FFA and 4-H and the other groups all across Kentucky, leadership groups that we really put a lot of our resources into sponsoring and helping, and we're so pleased to be able to do that. And the efforts that we do for our youth, I think, are so good, and you saw that last night. The leadership skills that our youth exhibited last night at the Outstanding Youth Contest, those folks are so talented and work so hard and are going to be wonderful leaders to fill these chairs in years to come. So we have no problem in really putting resources in that. Everybody is for that and excited about that, and the involvement that our Women's Committee does throughout every county in the state to promote those activities. And tonight, the talent contest will be exceptional. I encourage you later tonight to be able to be here and see a part of that. It'll really make your night. It's so much, so good to be able to see. One of the highlights of this year was, of course, our U.S. Senate Measure the Candidate Forum that we had during the campaign of Senator McConnell and Secretary Grimes, and we hosted that in our boardroom, Measure the Candidate program, and many of you were aware of that at the time. But all through the campaign, that was mentioned, that forum was mentioned and highlighted, and even one of the national TV news programs continued to show footage of that right up till the end of the campaign. And the reason was because that was the only forum that those candidates were together in until late in the campaign. So that was referred to many times. So they would pan our boardroom, and you would see what was going on. Our boardroom that day, you would have really enjoyed seeing that. They transformed our boardroom into really News Central that day. There was cameras stacked on top of each other and reporters all around the room. It was standing room surely for good that day, and it was really an impressive sight. And right on the heels of that event was our signature event of the State Farm, or the State Fair, and the Country Ham Breakfast. And again, we astonished everyone by selling a country ham at record prices once again at the auction to go to charity for our state and our region. Those are positive things that we're able to be a part of, and I really thank the folks that were involved in doing that. One of the reasons that I think we're successful in events like that is the fact that we continue to build relationships with our folks that are elected leaders, elected political leaders. You know, we're able to, with the help of you, to be able to establish really good programs all across Kentucky. This past year, traveled much of the state and been to many of the legislative appreciation dinners and breakfasts and banquets, and even up until the last few weeks. And it's just impressive. It is so impressive to me that you're able to be on a first name basis with elected leaders, not only at the courthouse in your counties, but your state legislators and our national figures know you and know you personally. It takes the effort to build that relationship, and you do a really good job of that, and we appreciate that. And quite frankly, we're able to leverage that, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the outcome makes us successful really in Frankfort, makes us successful in Washington, D.C. When sometimes the first question asked in the hallways would be, well, where's Farm Bureau on this issue? Ladies and gentlemen, that's a good comment to hear, because it means that we are a viable player in that. Jeff and Brian do a wonderful job lobbying those issues in Frankfort. We appreciate their success, the accomplishments they do, and to really picking out our priority issues and being able to take those onto the State House here in Frankfort. Albert Einstein made a comment one time that says, if you're going to be successful, you've got to learn the rules of the game. Study, learn the rules of the game, and then play the game better than anyone else. And that's the way that we feel like that our team has success. We learn the rules of the game, and we try to play it at our best to be able to deliver the message that you put in play for us here later today at the resolutions meeting, and set our policy and our goals, and then we try to play the game and try to get as much of that in as we possibly can. Our team did a good job this past year. We thought we had really some legislation passed about our priority issues that we think will be very effective. One was the wildlife management issue that we talked about. Started here really in this setting. We talked about, because so much came in about wildlife management in our policy arenas, that we were able to be effective in getting some meaningful legislation in on that. Same thing on the Breathitt Lab down in Hopkinsville. We became a priority issue for us and other organizations, and the ability of the legislature to continue to push on that. We saw a priority issue there of ours now successful. We were there for a groundbreaking earlier in the summer, and it's going to be a meaningful project for Kentucky agriculture for our whole state. We have some things that we want to watch that we always keep on our watch list that we think that you want us to be involved with. House Bill 44 that we always talk about, and the way we tax property in Kentucky will always be on our watch list, and we will be diligent in being able to protect that as we as property owners move forward. Always there's always tax issues that we know the policy that you put in place for us to work on, and tax issues that will be we will be mindful of that as we move forward. The other thing I want to mention right here that we're going to be watchful on moving forward this year, and we need to think about this pretty closely because you see it in the news really relatively lately, and that's the road fund. The way the gas tax is really, the fuel tax is implemented, and it's an average of the wholesale price, and the way that's trailed off. This year, it's forecast that we're going to be down about $120 million out of the budget on the road fund for as we move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to think about that right there. If we're going to have the resolutions committee has put in a resolution. I noticed in our packet that we'll be talking about this afternoon. Pay attention to that. If there's anything that's important to rural Kentucky, is our roads in rural Kentucky. And if you travel the states, Kentucky roads are pretty good, aren't they, compared to our neighboring states, and especially those when you get in a truck or trailer and you start hitting those major highways, we're much better than they are. But in rural roads that we're so what this issue is talking about is so important to us. We've got to move our equipment. We've got to have good roads. We've got to have culverts in the right place. Bridges are so important. We can't slip backwards in our road fund. So we need to think about that and talk about that issue and try to get that right as we move forward. Nationally, I think we Kentuckians are in a position that we've never experienced before. Really, our senior senator, Senator McConnell, now is majority leader in the Senate. And tomorrow he will be with us, and I hope we get the opportunity to publicly congratulate him about that. My Congressman Rogers, is chair of the Appropriations Committee. undeniably the most important committee in the House of Representatives is the Appropriations Committee, and it's a Kentuckian. We have Congressman Whitfield that plays a key role now as a subcommittee chair on transportation and energy. Two of the things that we deal with as much as anyone is transportation and energy. And with Senator Paul in a nationally prominent role, I think Kentucky is in a good spot right here. And I certainly know that Joe and his folks that lobby for us on a national level will be taking many of those issues that we have, front burner issues, to those folks and their staffs as we move into this new Congress. And we'll be able to establish our priorities. Again, that's a board function, and that'll be taking place here Saturday at our board meeting at the end of the convention. We will be taking those priority issues to Washington and working on those. And one of those issues, though, I want to speak about here just for a moment. It really, in particular, it's a key issue that we've talked about for a number of years here. You know, as we move into the future, and we want to see agriculture continue and be successful, and we want to see our children and our grandchildren be involved and have a good life living in Kentucky and living in rural Kentucky especially. And if we're going to continue to be a player in the role that of our global population and the way our global population is producing or growing, we're going to have to produce more. And we know that, and we're going to have to be able to do that. We have to have water, and our board has traveled for the last 3 or 4 years on educational tours annually to different parts of the country, and water has been a focus from the very beginning. When the first trip we went on was over in the Chesapeake Bay area, because we wanted to learn about how the Chesapeake Bay, getting all the attention that it gets on water quality issues, we wanted to make sure we understood that and how those implications affected us here in Kentucky. We moved from there into the northern regions in New York and Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan, and everywhere we would go, water was the issue. This past year, our board traveled, we went west, and really when we got west, what we found out in agricultural circles anywhere, whether it be California, whether it be Washington, Oregon, Idaho, any of the areas that we were visiting, water was the issue. And it not so much as water quality, but it was water availability, and how can we get enough water to be able to produce, and what's this going to look like? And they joked in California, and they said, hey, out here, whiskey's for drinking, but water's for fighting. And they were pretty serious about that. They said it's coming down to who's, in a limited amount of water, who's going to get it. And when you got plenty of it, everybody's happy, but we think that is the issue that's so important moving forward. We know that that's an issue. We know that's the issue that here in Kentucky, we're able to see ample rainfall, sometimes excessive rainfall, come in the winter and spring months and travel through our system of creeks and branches and on into our river system, into the Kentucky and the Cumberland and into the Ohio and into the Mississippi, moved into the Gulf of Mexico and gone forever. And come July and August, we're sitting here bone dry and crops withering, thinking about all that water that went away. We know that water management has got to be an issue moving forward. We think it is the right issue at the right time, and we think the right people are in the room to be able to address that. And moving forward, it's an issue that we've got to be on top of. It's an issue that we've got to be accurate and correct on, but we've got to be proactive. The time to work on an issue is not when you got your back to the wall. Decisions come hard then. We're in a time now that we have time to start planning and looking and assessing and making a good plan moving forward. So with that, today I'm announcing the formation of the Kentucky Farm Bureau Water Management Working Group. This committee will be charged with reevaluating the current situation, examining the potential actions, and making recommendations to all those involved in the future. This is a group of folks that we have many of them with us today that I would like to introduce. You know, any committee has to have a good, strong chair, or it's good, and we think that you could travel the state of Kentucky, and you couldn't find a chairman any more qualified or any more passionate about this issue than the new chairman of this working group. And I'd like to introduce the chairman, Mr. Steve Coleman. Steve is retired. Continue standing if you don't mind, Steve. Thank you. Steve is the retired director, Division of Conservation, as you know, state director and conservation, retired, and really has spent some time at home, and really we said, Steve, we need you on this. And just yesterday, finally got final approval from his wife that if we could find someone to kind of help out and pick up some of that honeydew list that you've let slide evidently here for a while, but we think Steve is the right person to be able to chair this committee. Right behind him, following and assisting him, is going to be the Deputy Commissioner of Agriculture from the Kentucky Department of Education, Mr. Warren Beeler. Warren, would you stand? Remain standing, please. And as I introduce the committee, would you stand and let's recognize this, folks. We also have from the Kentucky League of Cities, the Governmental Affairs and Communication Manager, Tyler Campbell. And we also have, representing many organizations, but most of all, a Fayette County farmer, Mr. Todd Clark. We also have Dean Nancy Cox of the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture and Food Environment. We also, representing the Women's State Advisory Committee and also Women in Agriculture and Furchess Farms, Ms. Sharon Furchess. With the Department of Environmental Protection, Division of Water, Mr. Pete Goodman. Could not be here today is Terry Gilbert, representing AFBF Women's Advisory Committee, and also State Director of Kentucky Farm Bureau, Terry Gilbert. And as you know, Benny having health issues, he's doing fine. He's doing real well and may get to go home today from the hospital, was the last report. Benny had to have bypass surgery this week, so she's got her hands full there. We also have Pat Henderson, Vice Chair of the Kentucky Farm Bureau Natural Resources Advisory Committee, also a State Director for Kentucky Farm Bureau. We have Kenny Imel. Kenny is a farmer and county president of Greenup County, and he's also a greenhouse producer and also a big water user in his area. Kenny is right back here. Kevin Jeffries, a farmer from Oldham County, represents many organizations, as you know, but very qualified to be on this committee as well. We have from the Rural Water Association, the Executive Director, Gary Larimore, looking forward to being on the committee, could not be here today. We have from the Kentucky Association of Conservation Districts, David Rowlett, their president, and thank you, David, for being here as well. Also, we have the chair of our Kentucky Farm Bureau Natural Resources Advisory Committee and State Director. We have Larry Thomas, part of the committee. Those are the voting members of this committee. Now, we also have ex officio members That will be Tom Fern, State Director of USDA Rural Development here in Kentucky. We have Michael Griffin, Kentucky Director of United States Geological Survey, and thank you for being here today. John McCauley, State Executive Director of the Farm Service Agency. We have Ms. Kim Richardson, State Director, Kentucky Division of Conservation. Kim's here today, and thank you. We also have Karen Woodridge, State Conservation National Resources, or NRCS, State Director. Karen, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, these folks will be a working group going forward. Now, this is not a study group. This is a working group. And this is going to take some time. And they have our blessing, encouragement to go after this issue. Make welcome them, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Where'd I miss it? I got ahead of myself. That's fine right there. Important part of this, Roger, I'm sorry. I am sorry. When you got a lot of notes and you mark them up, you miss some, and I apologize. But Roger Thomas is a key part of this committee. You know Roger, he is Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Ag Policy, also plays a key role in the Governor's Office as a liaison or political director and a little bit of everything over there right now. Roger, we thank you. Make welcome Roger Thomas. Thank you. Apologize. Farm Bureau is pleased to be able really just to organize and facilitate this group. This working group will have a lot of things to work on and to move forward, but we think with their expertise and the influence that this group has, they will be able to move the needle on this issue. And really, this is not a fast-paced thing. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort. One of the first things that we'll need to do is to figure out where we are right now. What is the need that we have here in Kentucky? And really, what is the water usage? So we're really excited about the work that they do. Now to commodity groups and elected leaders and other interested parties, we want you to know this is not just an exclusive group. This is all inclusive. And when they meet, it will be announced. There won't be invitations to go out, but it will be announced. And if your group or your commodity wants to be involved and wants to listen and have input on this, as these meetings takes place all throughout this next year and even the next, please stay close and stay and attend those, and you will be called upon many times, I'm sure, by the chair to be involved as they move forward. So again, we are excited about this as we move forward. If there's any one thing that we have learned in our recent election cycle, is that there's plenty of national groups begging for time from our elected leaders, and we understand that. So that means that we've got to focus on our issues and be able to have our ducks in a row, as so to speak, so we can be a viable voice for our members moving forward. If we plan to be a player in this a political arena, we have to be involved, we have to be informed, and we have to have our policy pretty precise in where we want to move forward. Yesterday, Bob Stallman talked about the issues, and I won't repeat those at all, but you know the issues moving forward with over-regulation. Those are the things that we will continue to work on and focus on. But you rest assured, the message that we're delivering and they're receiving, there's someone with an opposing view that we have that is in there begging for that same attention, begging for a few minutes in their ear to be able to explain their role in this. So we understand that, and that's the reason that we want to move forward. We have overarching issues that we're going to be working on, and really and truly, we have to be able to work for solutions. Many times we're just pleased to be able to figure out the problems and highlight them and draw markers under them, but never really take solutions to our elected leaders. And when you continue to do that, and you're not willing to be a part of the answer, or a part of the solution or bring meaningful dialogue to them, it's hard to remain viable. And it's hard to be opposed to every solution moving forward. And sometimes we get involved in party rhetoric, so to speak, you know, and get involved in the message and the message and the message, and it loses influence sometimes. But we as Farm Bureau, you know, we don't endorse candidates, and we encourage our folks and you and everyone to be politically active and be involved in campaigns and do all those things. But as an organization, we don't. We try to stay on point, on target, on message, and to be successful in that, we have to have good solutions to move forward. There's some important issues, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta get on. We can't continue to kick the can down the street on immigration. We've got to be able to deal with that, and we can't wait forever. That is an important issue. That's part of our workforce and the way that we govern ourselves here in the United States. Tax reform is going to be a big issue. Health care and all those things that need to be adjusted. We have to have an opinion on those, and we have to be able to deliver that message and not get caught up in really just maybe political agendas. We need to move farm. I've always been amazed at how well really Farm Bureau can pick out eventually get to the right conclusion. We have the ability to be able to do that. It's because that we have so many folks that are really good leaders from the county level, and you elect good leaders here, and we make good decisions, and we've got to always continue to move forward. 2015 will bring a lot of new things and new issues to us. We know that. We don't know, for example, exactly what they all are. But what worries me, I guess, sometimes, or keeps me up at night is, you know, our biggest fear should not be failure. But what we should worry about is that we understand and we master and we champion things that just doesn't matter. You know, what I'm saying is we got to make sure we pick out the right issues. We got to make sure that we have the right solutions moving forward. It's not a game. This is real stuff, and important things for not only us, but for our children and grandchildren moving forward. So as an organization, sometimes we stand on the side probably too long. And sometimes that's the easy way out. And that's the easy path, is really not figure out where we need to be as an organization and move on. And I'm saying that, you know, occasionally you got to do that. To be a viable organization, you got to take a stand and be able to move forward. Just as we did in some of our work that we did collectively, the Federation and the insurance company came together, figured out a solution of if we can get our insurance company profitable, what can we do to keep that going? And we came up with a county insurance services program. Program I'm so proud of. Last year, we wrote checks to county farm bureaus to the tune of $3.7 million. And you all were able to cash those checks. I think that money and our encouragement for you to use that money to have people participate and send young farmers to activities and attend national convention, to be able to take part in a congressional tour, be at all those outings, and we have record attendance, and we're able to see success because of programs like that. We were able to step up, make a decision, move forward, and I think we have made Farm Bureau stronger because of that. I look forward to continuing that program and others that will be just as successful as we move forward. When you elected me, one of the commitments that I made is I said I would approach every issue with an open mind with a level head and an even hand. And I want to commit to you that I will continue to do that as we move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday, and we'll start a new year in 2015 with good things to come. Thank you very much.